back on our minds. Well, Diane, you've been away with some other people, and that's always a good start.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Hello, Ben. It's really great to be in the studio today. I'm actually down here because over the weekend I attended and spoke at a conference that we talked about last Monday on the news, chaired by Kathy Mudge of Protect and Teach. And as I've done an interview with her previously, and she's been on the news last week talking about the conference. So on Saturday, I went to their annual conference and had a wonderful time. I just have a few photos I'd like to show you here from the things I took, random things I took at the conference, showing kind of the spirit of the people that were here. Here's somebody's tote bag saying, "Help, she's thinking thoughts I don't like, arrest her." And these were some stones that were passed out that a lady is making for free. She encouraged us to take as many as possible and leave them around in places. One says, "Trans ideology is a belief. It is not fact. No hate, just truth. And stop, quote, gender-affirming butchery." Here's some coasters that were made, that were handed out. Woman, a female of any age, 2025, hashtag Year of the Woman. This is, of course, because of the Supreme Court ruling. And, of course, as we know, a woman is an adult human female. Somebody's T-shirt said, safeguarding is our duty, biology, not ideology. And I also picked up a copy of the Women's Quiz Book. This is written by a woman in the 1990s called Jennifer Gorley, who is a member of the Protect and Teach group. And what we're going to do is, if you are a member, follow us on Extra, we will talk about this book some more in Extra. We might even have a quiz, Brian.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So some of the content that was covered in the conference, this is an important report from Protect and Teach called Safeguarding of Children in School and College. You can download this from their website. It's a very important report that shows a lot of the research that they have done in terms of contacting the Church of England and other people who are in charge of what's happening in the schools and the colleges and trying to call them out for it and trying to make people realize the biological reality of having only two sexes. This is Professor Gloria Moss. Some of you will recognize her name. She wrote the article that came out recently on UK Column about the Fabians and the Fabians founding of the Labour Party. Against a very important report. So she was one of the invited speakers, and I was the other invited speaker. She talked about the relationship between transgenderism and transhumanism, and again brought in some of her work on the Fabians. She did a wonderful speech as well about all of the academic research that she's done in the past that shows the reality of the differences between men and women and their preferences for design. These are the two wonderful ladies that kind of head up the group. Kathy Mudge, you'll know, we saw her last week on the news, and that's the other member of the committee over there on the right. And they kind of gave an overall introduction to the conference. One of the things that has been covered in Kathy's interview that I did with her a few weeks ago is the Church of England's guidance called Flourishing for All, Anti-Bullying Guidance for Church of England Schools. And one of the things that we showed in this interview was an appendix from that document that showed a glossary of terms showing that the Church of England has in fact adopted gender ideology with terms like gender dysphoria, identity disorder, gender recognition certificate, M2F, which is male or female, packing, which is making people look like they are something that they are not, underneath their clothing, transgender, transitioning, binding, which is what girls do when they don't want to develop their breasts, and so on. So one of the things after this came out was that the Church of England was contacted by Protect and Teach, and they had been contacted previously, and they said, please, because of the Supreme Court judgment, what we would like to request is that you adapt this document to show that there is only two sexes and that one sex cannot be participating in things that are meant for the other sex. And so they were quite successful in a way. It wasn't entirely amended, but they did amend this Flourishing for All documentation to show that, in fact, what we are now doing is showing that there is only two sexes, and there's some more work to do in it, but that was one thing. So now the document has been amended as of April 2025. Something else that Kathy presented was some, I guess we could say some presentations that have been developed by a group called Jigsaw. And Jigsaw is one of the organizations that now provides curriculum to students in England schools. This was leaked on the internet by a concerned adult that had been tamed otherwise. So basically, these are not normally shared with parents, but we did get access to some of these. And I'm just going to show a few examples of what the children are shown in schools when they're doing this PSHE education, which is the personal sexual health education. So just to show a couple of slides from this. And these are things that are read out directly to the students that are given to the teachers. The teachers have no choice in what's shared in this curriculum. So this one says, when we are born, we have a particular set of private body parts, genitals, reproductive organs, and these mean we are said to be male or female. This is the biological sex that is recorded on our birth certificate. Most people are born with either a male body or a female body. This is known as your biological sex. We usually call someone born with male genitals, which include a penis and testicles, a boy, and someone born with female genitals, which includes a vulva, vagina, and womb, a girl. The way a person feels about themselves, which of course is obviously different, and whether they feel like they are male, a boy, or female, a girl, is known as their gender identity. And this is one of the things that is shown as part of this particular lesson. And what I would like to do is leave this on screen and read the notes that are given to the teachers that they are provided when they have to give this lesson to the children. And this is exactly what the teachers are told to do. Demonstrate how to draw a Venn diagram, which is what is shown there, where we have boys and girls as separate, and then both in the middle, which is a mix potentially of boys and girls, with one circle labeled boys, one circle labeled girls, and both in the middle, and ask children to quickly do their own on whiteboards. Ask children to sort the statements into categories by writing the numbers in the correct area of the Venn diagram in pairs if appropriate. Remind the children how to complete a Venn diagram, including how some things can be outside all the circles. I don't know how that works. Before children are invited to share their categorization, ask them if this was an easy or difficult exercise, and why do they think they have been asked to do this? And then a note to the teacher, you will be able to see how aware of gender stereotyping they are by their responses. Hopefully, children will not have ingrained gender stereotypes, and if they don't, please feel you can move swiftly through this part of the lesson. So we're trying to break apart what boys do and what girls do and break down those stereotypes. However, if you see some stereotypical ideas coming through, it is worth spending time unpacking these with the children. Do not leave stereotypical responses unchallenged. Handle the discussion carefully to draw out the concept of stereotypes. So, Brian, here what we're seeing is the breakdown of understanding what it is to be a boy and what it is to be a girl. Not to say that stereotypes are always the case, but I don't think that they want the children to leave the lesson at all whatsoever with any concept of what a boy is or what a girl is. I don't know what you think about that.
I think it's absolutely correct. And what we're seeing is the power of these outside agencies and the companies. And we're now in the situation where a school teacher is not allowed to think for themselves in preparing their own lesson plan. So couple that with a government that wants to use accelerated nudging to reframe the way adults think, we can be sure that they are desperate to get their hands on the minds of little children so that those children can be reframed before they become adults. Very, very sinister stuff, Diane. We will continue to keep reporting. And I'm going to say a huge thank you to all the people who set up that conference and, of course, who are taking the trouble to confront some of these organisations head on. This is what proper activism is about, and this is what we need if we're going to pull the foundation out from this dangerous government grooming of our children. Well, if you like what the UK column is doing, then please do support us. We need your financial support. And of course, there's many ways you can do that. You can make a donation to us. You can take out a monthly, annual, or lifetime membership. You can also buy something through the shop. And we always like to highlight that we do have Clive de Carle's health products, and we make a small percentage on those if you would like to order through UK Column. Now, the material we put out is to be shared, and although we are shadow banned on some of the platforms and completely banned on others from time to time, e.g. YouTube, information is there for people to circulate. Please do give the UK Column recognition if you are using information that's come from us. This helps us grow and expand. Now, Diane, you've been commenting on articles going up on UK Column website. There's a lot of really good material. What have we got here?
Yeah, so this is just a couple of articles that have been published in the past week. So every Monday, I'll be reviewing kind of what we've published in the past week. So here are two brand new ones to take a look at. This first one is from Vanessa Beeley, the UK private security boom in Syria under Al-Qaeda regime, part 1. So this will be a multiple part series. She reported some of this material in her spot on the news last Wednesday. And the other new one is by Matthew Arrett, The Enduring Problem of the Jesuits, which is actually a very timely article because the Pope who just passed away was a Jesuit. So it's really a very interesting historical and deep look into what the Jesuits are about and what they've been doing.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Now, Ben, you've been out travelling, and Saturday just gone was an event in the Thetford Community Centre in Sidmouth. That was a talk on natural law, remedy or ruin. It's Our Choice by William Katie. How did you find it?
It was fantastic. I had a wonderful, wonderful couple of days over in Sidmouth. Will was excellent. He talks about the British Constitution, trial by jury, mechanisms for self-governance. See the question at the back there, can we be our own government? I think we can, but we've got to take responsibility for our own actions. This is what we should ultimately be aiming for. It was a real powerhouse performance, 3 hours of material, expertly delivered. And there's a great crowd there. It's really good to meet some UK column viewers, had some lovely warm comments and feedback, and someone told me that I felt like a family member to them, which was just really lovely, actually. And it was a great venue. Sidmouth is just something else. I've never been down there before. I mean, just one of the most beautiful places. And we even got a little display from the lifeguard out on manoeuvres. They weren't actually rescuing anybody, but I think they were just letting everyone know that they were there. And yeah, a great weekend in Devon.
Okay, Ben, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, and a huge thank you again for those people that took the effort to put on an event to start talking not only about what's wrong, but what can be done. This is what proper activism is about, and a huge thank you to all that team. Well done to yourself for going. Should I just say that the RNLI were doing that exercise there. That wasn't actually a migrant rubber boat, before anybody gets too excited. Now, the other thing we have to tell you is that tonight at 7 p.m. Germ Warfare will be speaking on why machines will never rule the world. We're very grateful to have Germ with us on the UK column, and he's going to be putting out some really interesting material. So do look out for this at 7 o'clock tonight. We've also got interesting interview coming up with Malcolm Hills under the title An Englishman Abroad. Now, Malcolm's been living in Russia, and this is an excellent opportunity for UK column viewers to understand a little bit about the realities of what it's like to live in other countries, particularly those countries that are constantly in the bad books of the United Kingdom. So do join us for that at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Now, I'm just going to move on through one slide. So let's go on through that. A reminder that Friday the 18th, the 19th of July, we've got the Thetford Truth and Freedom Beer Festival at the Angel Inn, Swallow Lane, Larling, NR16 2QU. That's 18th and 19th of July. And again, this is another event, very relaxed, where socialising with people and learning and talking about what's happening in the country go together. I think this is a very powerful way of doing things. People need the enjoyment of coming together, and they need everything possible to get rid of that horrible stress and fear which the government is piling upon us with their behavioural insights and accelerated nudging. Now, we've also got the Sounds Beautiful Festival coming up. That's June the 26th to 29th in Wimborne, Dorset. And that is going to be a very good event with speakers and music and camping and a lot more. So if you can get there, please get involved. And also like to say that there's a couple of free tickets available. If you go onto the UK column Facebook, you can enter Plus, we'll put up a link on our show notes about this. So a lot happening, and I think this is really encouraging. People are not just active in the political sense, and well done to everybody in all the parties, not only the reform candidates that got out at local level, but all the other small party people who are taking on the big parties by being active on the streets. We also want to thank people who are putting on alternative conferences and doing things in their own way at local level. This is very, very powerful. So, Diane, probably that brings us back to you.